Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Joe, and welcome back to another episode of the Inside Our Phillies podcast. And today I wanted to provide you all with the full audio of my interview with Garrett Stubbs that I had earlier today. I hope you all enjoy it, and stay tuned for the end where I have a little bit to talk about. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So thank you for being here today, Garrett. I really appreciate it. For all of us on the Phillies Reddit and everything, I know we've been really looking forward to this.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to do it with you. For those of the people who haven't seen you, the hair is incredible. Immaculate flow.
I'm a USC guy like you. You know
Let's
how people
go.
have their hair in California.
Nice. You're probably not from California, are you?
I'm from Marlton in New Jersey.
All right. Wow, it's a long ways away to go out to SC. But you picked up on the. you brought the mullet from the '90s with Kruk over to USC. We'll call it that.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions that we got from people all over the surf and everything like that, and I just wanted to go through some of them with you if that's all right.
Yeah.
So the first one that we have is people just being curious how game planning works from your perspective as a catcher. People wanted to know, is it a combination of the pitcher, the catcher, the coaching, or how does it work? When you're planning out what you want to do in the game.
Yeah, I think a lot of it we try to lean on our pitcher's strengths first and foremost, but we do a long, extensive look at the other team and their hitters and try to figure out what their weaknesses are and how we can exploit those weaknesses while taking into consideration the strengths of the pitcher that day and also the pitchers that are in our bullpen that day. Early on in the day, we have a meeting with the starting pitcher and kind of go through every single hitter and tell them and try to get on the same page for what we believe are their weaknesses. And so once we get into the game, things change on the fly a lot of times, but you go in there with a game plan and you make adjustments as things go.
How different is that process here in AAA compared to, the major leagues?
I'd say it's the same process, but there's a lot more information in the big leagues. So, guys have had a lot more at-bats. They've had a lot more plate appearances that you've seen in person, along with just the amount of games played from guys in the big leagues is usually a lot more. But even then, you'll have a few teams that have a lot of new guys, and so then you have to go through each one of those guys and with a little bit less information. I think here it's kind of more of that a lot more of the time because there's not as many games played. You just don't have quite as much information. So in those situations, you try to lean on your pitcher's strengths and go from there.
Cool. What can you tell us about your role in helping pitchers develop new pitches and existing pitches in their arsenal? Is there anything specific that you think your time in the majors has taught you about pitch development that you've been able to carry with you to developing players here in AAA?
Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot, and I try to make sure I bring as much information as I've gathered from my time up there, not only from the playing experience, but being around JT, being around Caleb Cotham, being around guys like Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, and seeing how they go about their business and how they're willing to develop new pitches as their careers go on, even though they've had an incredible amount of success prior to that, right?
Right.
Zach Wheeler put in a sweeper last year. I think it was this first year, maybe the year before that. But a guy like that being willing to implement new pitches, I think is a telltale sign of guys who are young just being able to make adjustments on the fly and understand that even with the amount of success that they might have at this level or the next level, there'll always be adjustments that need to be made in order to keep up with the game. So I think that's a huge piece, and I try to instill that on the guys that are here. But at the end of the day, I just try to be a resource for whoever's wanting any information from me and be able to help them in any way possible.
That's cool. You've been known for your bunting throughout your career, either to get on base yourself, to move a runner along, or just to induce action on the field. Are these decisions that you usually make yourself, or does the coaching staff have more of a say on how much strategy you're going to incorporate into an at-bat?
Yeah, they give me a lot of freedom to be able to make those decisions myself. I think they know that I have a decent baseball IQ to where I'll be doing that in situations where I feel the opportunity presents itself, whether it be to get a runner over or me to just get on base and try to start something. It flusters a pitcher and a defense when things like that happen. So they give me that freedom to be able to make those decisions. Of course, there's certain sack bunt situations where they'll put a bunt sign on and I'll be bunting for a sack, but those are far and few between, to be honest. Most of the time it's giving me the freedom to make those decisions and understand the game and when those opportunities are probably best.
How would you say your strategy toward an at-bat has changed as your career's gone on?
constantly making adjustments, just like we were talking about with the adjustments on pitching staff, and being able to, one, make those in-game adjustments, but then career adjustments as well. So I think that I'll continue to try to develop as a player in whatever aspect of the game that is, and try to learn from the guys that have done it before me.
Yeah, it's cool. How do you go about building camaraderie in a locker room? Like, is it any harder now being like a new guy in a locker room compared to, when you were more established with the Phillies, for the last few years?
Yeah, I think it's a revolving door, right? Especially down here, you get new players, and players that have been here leave for a various amount of reasons. So I would say that it can be tougher, but I don't have like any strategy or any playbook on how that works. I think I just let my personality mold with whatever the team is at the time.
Right.
We've had a lot of the same players this year, and a lot of the players have left, whether it be injury or release or whatever it may be. I think the team camaraderie piece comes as the season goes and flows. So how the team was in the beginning of even this season, we have a lot of new players. So I think we're constantly finding a new identity with the revolving door in AAA. Whereas in the big leagues, you kind of have those same guys that stick around, and you see what meshes with each team every year. Not the same things click for everybody year to year. So even from 22 to 24, and I haven't been up there this year, but whatever's going on up there this year, the camaraderie is going to be different. So you just got to mesh and try to find what clicks with guys.
Right. Kind of related to that, like, this is probably the most popular question we got, is people wanted to know how exactly you go about making a Spotify playlist. Like, is it something that you just go about and you sit out, you make the playlist yourself? Is there like a lot of collaboration with the other guys in the clubhouse? Like, how does it work when you're making a clubhouse or making a playlist from scratch?
I should make like a commercial about this. It's like when you put on a song and you look around the room and you try to see if people's feet are tapping or someone's singing. And if no one's singing, probably take that song off the playlist. That's really how it goes, honestly. It's like a trial and error. You also just kind of get a vibe for people's personalities. So then you try to pick out different music that kind of falls along line with that. Some guy might be into Screamo, so you put a Screamo song on there that the year prior, everyone would have been like, why the hell is this on the playlist? But you have a guy in there that everyone knows is super into Screamo, so everyone's into the song because they know that guy's going to get fired up. So
that's cool.
I think most of the time it just has to do with the players in the locker room. So look for the feet taps and the people singing in the locker room, and that's how you know if it should stay or go.
That's cool. It was 10 years ago now that you won college baseball's Johnny Bench Award for being the best catcher in the nation and a first-team All-American that year, too. I remember going to my first USC baseball game as a student there, and I saw your plaque out there on Dado Field. Now that you're 10 years removed from that, like, what have you taken with your time, in college at USC into your professional career?
Don't take that 10 years removed number around to everybody else. I need people knowing how old I am. I guess being removed from that part of my life, it was awesome. Obviously, the success is great. The biggest and coolest part was making that regional that year, which was there was a 10-year drought between regionals, and then after that year, there was another 10-year drought, and they just made it back this year. We need to start breaking that 10-year drought excursion or what. Like, we need to make sure that it doesn't go another 10 years. But those years were super fun. Obviously learned a lot. I still keep in touch with so many guys from those years. The Johnny Bench Award, I think the coolest part about that was getting to meet Johnny Bench and developing a relationship with him. When I was in West Palm Beach for spring training, Johnny lives right there off in Jupiter, so I would go to dinner with him every spring training. He'll still shoot me texts or leave voicemails just saying that he's keeping up. So I think that was the coolest part that came out of that award specifically.
That's cool. Every kid has the dream of playing professional baseball. Like, at what point in your playing career did you start to think that it was actually possible for you to do it?
It's a roller coaster. I would say that I'll go 2 different years. I'll say in 2017, I thought my career was over. I was pretty much thinking that the 28 season would probably be my last season, and not because I didn't think I was any good, but I just had a really bad 2017. I had graduated from USC with a degree. It was maybe time for me to start looking at what that roadmap looked like, and went into 2018 thinking, all right, let's just have fun this year because it might be the last time we ever play. Ended up playing the best year of my career that year, probably because I took the pressure off of the numbers and just the everyday grind of being in minor league baseball. And I had an incredible time. It's just so much fun with those guys on that team. We did a lot of winning that year too. Like I said, played my best. And I'd say that year I realized, there might be a real shot here at me making it to the big leagues. Got put on the roster at the end of that year and then debuted that following year. But I think that year was a big turning point in my career and my life of just realizing that whatever you're doing, don't put the pressure. There's going to be plenty of outside pressure. So you don't need to add any more pressure to yourself. And whatever you're doing, whether it be playing baseball, working a 9 to 5, dog sitting, I have no idea. But just try to have fun in whatever it is that you're doing, because if you're miserable, you're not going to get the best out of yourself, nor are you going to be enjoying any of it. So that 2018 year was a huge turning point, probably the first time where I was like, I think I might make it to the big leagues.
That's awesome. Do you ever step back and think about how cool it is to be even major league, minor league baseball player, just how you get to live out the dream of so many people?
All the time. Yeah, my brother and I talk about it all the time. Obviously there's the day-to-days where you have a shitty game, to put it for lack of a better terms, but you kind of get into a rut of being pissed off or not enjoying the game the way that it should be enjoyed. It happens to me sometimes at bat, but my brother and I look at each other all the time and talk about how cool it is that we're in even AAA this year. Obviously, my being able to play in the big leagues the past 4 or 5 years, it's an incredible accomplishment. I think when I will get to look back in years to come, it'll feel even greater. But yeah, I take a step back as much as I can to try to gain that perspective and realize what I've been able to accomplish thus far is pretty incredible, and to just try to keep enjoying it.
Yeah. How'd you find your way to catching as being your primary position, and what's your favorite part about catching and what's the hardest part about catching too?
Yeah, my size. I'm obviously the perfect size to be a catcher. So I was a shortstop and second baseman mostly in high school, and then basically nobody wanted to catch. I was pretty good at it, and my high school baseball coach and this guy, Ed Herman, taught me everything I know about catching. So they, from an early age, told me that the fastest way to become a big leaguer was a left-handed hitting catcher. So I was like, I think I'm bought in on being a left-handed hitting catcher. And they were right. I obviously got to live that dream out, but that's how it really became a thing, was mostly just nobody else wanted to do it. I did it. I was decent at it, and when they told me that was the fastest way to the big leagues, I was like, all right, let's get on the horse and see where this thing can go. So now we're here.
The draft was just last week. Are there any draft picks you're really hoping to be able to work with sooner rather than later?
I really have to. I don't keep up with college baseball as much as I'd like to. Obviously, we're playing our own season. I know Gage. I should know his last name, but I know he was our kid from Arkansas was our first round pick. Yeah, Gage Wood. Looks like he's got a good heater. I'm sure he'll be a lot of fun to work with in the future, but I'd have to really go back and look at the draft and see the different guys, but I'm looking forward to meeting them when they do come to camp.
It's got a couple quick ones now. What's your Wawa meal order?
My what?
Wawa meal order.
Dude, I've been asked this before, and I just don't have it's not an everyday thing for me to go to Wawa, so I don't have a go-to.
Okay.
At Wawa, but I don't have a go-to at Wawa.
Do you want an In-N-Out?
Do I want In-N-Out? Oh my God. For those of you that are in Philadelphia and haven't been to In-N-Out, I'm so sorry. It's a treat, and I need them to start moving those In-N-Outs out east.
Apparently they're going to, in the next 10 years or so.
I hope so.
Not gonna lie, 3 or 4 times a week in college I went to In-N-Out.
If I'm still in Philly in 10 years, then I'm doing something right.
Where did the idea of the chief picking officer come from?
Somebody else. I think maybe Sam came up with it.
Yeah, I'll take credit.
Yeah. But I have a marketing girl too. She might have mentioned it. Her name's Megan Tola. She's awesome. Owen, our other social media guy, might have said something about it, but it was a pretty funny play on words. I like it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What's the hardest pitcher you've ever had to catch for?
Who's the hardest pitcher?
Yeah.
Oof. I would say that, so I got to catch Garrett Cole in like my second career outing. And it wasn't because of it being hard to catch, but when you catch a guy of that caliber and it's one of your first or second times ever playing in a big league game, the amount of stress that went into preparing for that game, and it went really well. We beat the Oakland A's that day. He pitched great. He didn't yell at me, which was a huge plus.
Yeah.
So I would say that was my toughest game I ever caught. And I honestly, after that, it was pretty good time to do it. Good time in retrospect, because once I caught him and had that day, it was like, what else?
Trial by fire.
Yeah. And like, who will be above this? And obviously I get to catch guys like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. But yeah, I think that was a good preparation moment for like my career going forward.
Right. And I know you came out with all the new t-shirts. We're wearing the t-shirts right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've got these t-shirts, the Snorkelers Athletic Club, and Austin Schulfer came up with the name. But after every Iron Pigs win, we like to have fun, and like you were talking about, creating a culture in the locker room. And we've never done this before in the big leagues or anything. But after every win, we have a pitcher of the game and a position player of the game. And the pitchers choose the pitchers, and the position players choose who the position player of the game is. And then we have a beer bong, and we do a race. So we have 2 beer bongs set up, and we throw 2 Coors Lights in each beer bong. And they do a race, and we have a tally in the locker room of who's had the most wins. And I think right now the pitchers are outdoing the position players for tallies and wins on the beer bong race. But when we do it, we say it like we're going snorkeling, and the beer bong is our snorkel. So Snorkeler Athletic Club was born, and if we're winning, we're doing the snorkel after the game. So everyone wants to be a part of the Snorkelers Athletic Club, because that means the piggies are winning.
That's very cool.
It's awesome.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey everybody, I'm back. I hope you all enjoyed that interview. One thing I wanted to point out before we got any further along in this is to purchase Garrett Stubbs t-shirts, you can go to breakingtea.com/collections/the-Garrett-Stubbs collection. You can also find it linked in his Instagram account, and I'll also provide a link to that in the show notes for you. I hope you all enjoyed us kind of venturing out of what we normally do and this kind of new content that we provided with this interview. I also have a story that I'll be putting up on r/Phillies probably tomorrow or Monday, just about kind of what the experience was like and some experiences that I was able to take away. This was just unbelievably cool. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I am not a journalist. I have never studied journalism, but I am trying to do my best to make something that you all can hopefully enjoy and feel a little bit more connected to the players from. So at the end of the day, I really just hope that I'm providing that. If anybody has anything that they want me to do in the future, please let me know. I can go back to Lehigh Valley whenever I want. I'm thinking about maybe a trip to Lakewood or Reading could be in my future as well. So we'll really just have to see where this goes. But I just am coming out of today incredibly grateful for the opportunity that I had. It was just so cool, the entire thing. Sitting in a press box talking to an MLB pipeline guy the entire game long, and seeing Garrett Stubbs and Rincones Jr. and Justin Crawford and all these guys, as the game went on. I was able to break news about Weston Wilson getting caught up and boom, going to the IL. The whole thing today was just kind of mind-blowing to think about and look back on and experience in the moment. Even just walking around a baseball stadium that was completely empty. In a lot of ways, it's like my dreams came true in a way today. I'm was a software engineer up until this past week, and I'm working in cybersecurity, but I don't like my job. It's not something I'm really into, and even though I'm not working in baseball, to kind of have the experience that I had today, you could hear it in my voice right now. It meant a lot. And I hope to be able to do more stuff like this in the future. If you want to get involved with the podcast at all, please feel free to remember to reach out to me. And also remember to buy Garrett Stubbs' t-shirts. They're really cool. Today they were wearing the Snorkelers Athletic Club ones. There is a story to that I can't share, but they look very cool. And again, it's breakingtea.com/collections/the-Garrett-Stubbs collection. And I will be back with you all at some point tomorrow, I think, or maybe Monday, or we'll figure something out. But I will be back at some point with recapping the Angels series, and I'm looking forward to that. So I'll see you all then, and have a good one.